viewers, welcome to the session on time management. Well, I am Sunil Solomon Philip, working as an assistant professor of English in the Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. And in the previous sessions, we discussed several interesting, important topics related to the present day's job interviews, workplace ethics, assertiveness, leadership, stress management, several interesting topics on stress management and other topics. So all this we are discussing under the main subject, soft skills and interpersonal communication. So today I'm here to present an interesting lecture on time management. Without wasting further time, let's go and see what this time management is all about. What is the meaning of this, definition of this, how to manage the time efficiently? Well, all of us, for us, time is very, very precious, and time, once it is lost forever. So let's go and see how to manage the time effectively and efficiently in our day-to-day lives. Here we go. Well, it is rightly said that time and tide wait for none. I repeat, time and tide, both of them, they wait for none. Irrespective of, regardless of, our priorities, time keeps flying away. It doesn't wait for anyone. To ask the importance of time, we should speak to the one who has lost his train. If we talk to him, he will tell us the importance of time. Right? An individual should understand the value of time for him to succeed in all aspects of life. Well, a person who cannot manage his time efficiently and effectively, he cannot succeed in all the aspects of his life. Personal, professional, academic, all the places. Isn't it? I'm sure all of you will agree with me. Most importantly, for instance, if a student is writing a competitive exam, speed and accuracy both are important for him. If he can maintain, he is very accurate in his answers. Imagine, if he cannot maintain the time, he'll be a failure. He'll not be able to complete the test, the standardized test in the given time. Therefore, as a result of that, he'll be a failure in the examination, isn't it? Therefore, maintenance of time is something very, very important for academicians, professionals, people who are in their domestic lives. Time is precious. Once it is lost forever. That reminds me of one of my childhood quotes that says, an arrow that is released, a word that is spoken from the mouth, and the time that has passed away will never return. It will never return. I repeat, an arrow that is released, the word that is spoken, and the time that flew away will never return. How true, isn't it? Yes. So, people who waste time are the ones who fail to create an identity of their own. Time wasters, they cannot create an identity of their own. They cannot create a sort of recognition for their caliber, for their potential. They are blessed with amazing caliber, potential, talent, immense talent. But for that to be, to see the light of the day, for that to be unleashed, time should be managed effectively and efficiently, isn't it? Otherwise, they cannot create an identity of their own. Whatever should be done in a proper time, should be done in that time. Once it is lost, we will have to only sit back and regret about it. That's all. We can't do anything about it later on, at a later point of, at a later stage in our life. Right? Okay, fine. Time management refers to managing time effectively so that the right time is allocated to the right activity. Right time, right activity. Okay? Don't do the, wrong thing at the right time or right thing at the wrong time. Both are dangerous. Effective time management allows individuals to assign specific time slots to activities as per their importance. Priority is what should be given on a priority basis. People generally say top priority, most urgent. We see these things on government official correspondence letters, isn't it? That means we should be able to prioritize our tasks. When we arrange them in a sequence about the to-do activities, the to-do plan maybe for tomorrow. What is important? What is next? That chronological sequence, chron is time. logical, in a logical sequence, we need to arrange what should come first, what is next, what is third. Okay. So that sort of prioritizing your tasks, okay, day-to-day activities, plan of action, course of action should be prioritized. Isn't it? POA. In government terminology, we call it as POA, plan of action. One should have a plan of action for efficient and effective usage of time. All right, great. Okay, let's go and see more about this time management. Time management refers to making the best use of time, as time is always limited. You see, we don't have unlimited time, right? Especially as students, unless you make use of the precious time that you have as a student in your college, right? Maybe at home when you do your studies. This precious time that is lost, you can never make up that loss. Never ever you can make up that loss. Maybe, when you enter your middle age, or maybe when you go to some of the senior age level, you will definitely sit back and regret, I think I should have done that. I think I should have done this. But once the time is gone, it is gone forever, isn't it? Therefore, ask yourself which activity is more important and how much time should be allocated to that activity, right? Is it about question bank questions that you should be sure about, thorough about? Is it about coding and decoding that you should learn more about? What is difficult for you? Which requires more of your attention, concentration, dedication? Okay, pay more attention there. Generally, for difficult subjects, we pay more attention as students. Also, people as job aspirants, when you face these competitive examinations, difficult sections is what those sections you practice more. You pay more attention in those areas. The other areas which you are very familiar with, which you are very confident about, generally you don't allocate much time for that. Similarly, in the same fashion, in your personal lives, in your professional lives also, maybe when you are working in a workplace, what should be done which activity should be done in a particular time. That sort of allocation should be done in a proper manner, just like that of our timetable, just like that of our schedule that we have as at schools, at colleges, universities. That scheduling, that timetabling should be done meticulously, carefully, isn't it? Right. Okay. Know which work should be done earlier and which work can be done a little later. Time management plays a very important role in not only in organizations but also in our personal lives, right? It is not just for workplace, it's not just for a student, it's not just for somebody, it is also for everyone, right? That's the reason people say an idle man's brain is a devil's workshop, right? That means a person who doesn't care about time, who doesn't care about his life properly. So that kind of idle man's brain is a devil's workshop. His time is just wasted on unnecessary things, unwanted things, right? Undesirable things, which are of no use for him in his life, isn't it? For the present life and for the future life, right? Okay. What are the tips to manage this time effectively and efficiently? Well, effective planning is what is necessary to manage the time properly. Then, number 2, setting goals and objectives is important. A person without a goal, a person without an objective is like a wanderer, he's like a vagabond, he's like a gypsy. Remember, I've used 3 synonyms here. As an English faculty, I love to use lots and lots of words. I keep telling this in all my sessions, in all my video lectures. You see, we have got 2 kinds of memories. Just like a control and processing unit or a central processing unit in a computer, our brain also has 2 kinds of memories: LTM, STM, long-term memory, short-term memory. The more you use a word frequently, usually, generally, it gets saved in your long-term memory. The lesser the frequency, it gets saved in your short-term memory, and after a certain period of time, that word gets erased from your memory. So, to keep your brain active, to help you recollect those words, recall those words properly, you should keep using, words frequently, new words, important words, generally words that you use academically, professionally, personally. What are the words? Keep using them as much as you can. There is one beautiful concept that says, use it or lose it. I repeat, use it or lose it. So English language is such a kind of language. For us, we are not native speakers, we use this language as an official language. We also use this as a second language. So for us, memorizing those words is important. How can we memorize? The more we practice speaking, the more we communicate, interact, by using those, interesting, useful target language phrases and expressions. The more you use, the more they become your property, so that the more you can speak confidently, authoritatively, fluently and accurately. Right? Okay, great. So effective planning, first one. Second, setting goals and objectives is something important. Okay, a person without a goal, without an objective is a wanderer, is a vagabond, is a gypsy, is a nomad, right? So don't be such a person. Have a goal in your life, have an objective in your life, right? Okay, this task I should complete maybe in the given point of maybe, after 6 months, after 7 months. This is the language that I'm going to learn. This is the program. This is the, coding, decoding that I'm going to learn in the given time. So that goal, that objective must properly, set as a student, right? Set deadlines for that. Let me give you a beautiful example here, a blazing example rather. Well, I wrote books for Oxford University Press. I authored, books for Oxford University Press. While I was writing books for those Oxford University Press, these editors, commissioning editors, assisting editors, they were behind me. So there were always deadlines for me to finish up chapters within the given deadlines, because by that time the book should be published, the book should come out. So according to those deadlines, according to those directions and instructions, I worked, and I could publish around 7 books in Oxford University Press. The same thing when it comes to my PhD, Doctor of Philosophy, as we all know. Writing my thesis, unless I set deadlines for myself, because here I don't have any bosses. Of course, I have my guide, I have the university authorities who always, ask us to come for doctoral committee meetings, who always check our progress, which is good, which is fine. But here, my thesis writing, my, dissertation writing, I should set deadlines for myself. Otherwise, I will not be able to finish off. I will not be able to complete my, thesis writing, dissertation writing within the given deadline. So I go on, I keep requesting extensions. I have to, request the university for extensions again and again, which may or may not be given, from time to time. So setting deadlines is something very, very important. Delegation of responsibilities. See, we need not take all the responsibilities to ourselves. When there are others in the team, it is always good to delegate the responsibilities. Assign the duties to others. Let them also be part of the team. Let them also come forward and share the job, share the work. Isn't it? Right. Next one is 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth one, prioritizing activities as per their importance. Just now I mentioned this in the previous slide. On a priority, when you write down your tasks in a logical sequence or in a chronological sequence, prioritize your activities, your schedule or your timetable. Spending the right time on the right activity is again very, very important. So let's go ahead and see more about these, time management techniques and tips. Why is it important? How is it important? Let's go and see all those things. Well, coming to this effective planning. Plan your day well in advance. Prepare a to-do list or a task plan. Always go for a task plan. Go for a to-do list. What should be done? What is my priority? Right? Jot down the important activities that need to be done in a single day against the time that should be allocated to each activity. So what are the important activities that should be done in a single day? And how much time does it require? Okay. Against that activity in a single day, also mention maybe 1 hour. Okay. Maybe 50 minutes, 30 minutes. Mention that on a piece of paper so that your time is not wasted. So that day is more fruitful, productive and result oriented in terms of achieving your goals and objectives. So that at the end of the day, you have that satisfaction. You have that sense of pride and satisfaction that yes, I have completed all my duties successfully today. Isn't it? Right. Okay. High priority work should come on top, followed by those which do not need much of your importance at the moment. So the first one is more important. Second, third, fourth. So prioritize on a priority basis. Jot down your duties that should be done, that should be finished, that should be completed in a day. Right. Okay. Now, complete pending tasks one by one. You see, this postponing, procrastination, or when you go on, postponing your files, your job, your to-do list, that becomes a very big headache for you at one point of time. Therefore, hence, complete the pending tasks first of all, one by one. Do not begin fresh work unless you have finished your previous task. Unless the previous one is done, it is completed, don't go to the next one. Don't start something else, right? It would be something like you are, no one can travel in two ships. You have one leg in one ship, another leg in the other, another ship, okay? Or one leg in one boat, another leg in another boat. You'll have to just sink in the ocean, nothing else. Therefore, finish off one properly, perfectly, okay, appropriately, then go to the next one. Tick the ones you have already completed. That should be a kind of checklist, thus saying that yes, this is done. Now I'll go to the next one. Ensure you finish the tasks within the stipulated time frame. The given deadline, stipulated time frame. That, it is not just important. What is important is not just to complete your work. What is important is to complete your work in the given stipulated time frame. That is something, again, very, very important. Otherwise, you will have to, suffer from different kinds of pressure, stress, tension, phobia, nervousness, whatnot, everything. Right? Set goals, objectives, and deadlines. Setting goals and objectives. Okay. Working without goals and targets in an organization would be similar to a situation where the captain of the ship loses his way in the sea. Imagine the captain of the ship is the main head of the ship. If he loses the way in the ocean, in the sea, what will happen? Right? The fate of the entire passengers who are there on board, on the cruise, their fate is totally uncertain. Their fate is rather in a danger. They are heading to a dangerous destiny. Therefore, work with goals and targets in organization, in your personal lives, professional lives, okay, so that you know exactly where you are heading to. You know exactly what is happening. You know exactly what is pending, what should be done, what is important, and where will you be arriving at the end of that, or after the end of the time. Isn't it? Right. So you would be lost otherwise. Set targets for yourself and make sure they are realistic ones and achievable ones. See, there are people who go for daydreaming. They just keep building castles in the air, and they are just, people who are always into their wishful thinking, their fantasies and dreamlands. It is nothing wrong to get into dreamlands, because a great personality of former president of our country, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam himself said, dream big. One day you will make your color dreams come true. He always says, dream big. Nothing wrong in dreaming big. But those dreams should be realistic. Make them realistic. Make them achievable. Right? Not just building castles in the air all the time. You are just a daydreamer, which is not correct, which is not good. As a student, as a professional, let the dreams be realistic. Let the dreams be achievable. Right? Now, setting deadlines is another important task here. Why? Why deadlines? Otherwise, you'll be simply wasting time. Otherwise, you'll be simply, going on doing the same thing again and again, and there is no end for it. And you cannot put a full stop here, and you cannot go to the next task. Isn't it? Right. So set deadlines for yourself and strive hard, work hard to complete tasks ahead of the deadlines. So don't wait till the last minute. For instance, if you are supposed to submit your application form, which is a very lengthy one, you need to fill, it's of about, 10 pages. Imagine the application form is of 10 pages. And there are so many photostat copies that are to be attached to that. There are so many signatures that you are supposed to take. And there are so many, formalities that need to be done there. Don't wait till the last date of submitting the application form. Try to complete it maybe a day before or 2 days before. Why to wait till the last minute? Isn't it? So set deadlines for yourself. Strive hard to complete tasks ahead of deadlines, not waiting till the last minute. Okay, right. Because people say a stitch in time saves 9. I repeat, this is another wonderful proverb. A stitch in time saves 9. Isn't it? right? Do not wait for your superiors to ask you every time. Don't wait for somebody to monitor you all the time. Be a self-monitoring person. Be a self-guiding and self-counseling person. Don't wait for someone to keep checking you, keep asking you, have you done this? What else is pending? When will you do this? There won't be people to check you, to monitor you all the time as superiors, as bosses. Isn't it? You should be a boss for yourself, a self-dependent person, a self-reliant person. Isn't it? That's what we should all strive to become. Only then we'll be able to successfully complete our assignments within the given time frame or within the given deadline. Right, okay. Learn to take ownership of work. Meaning, you should feel that accountability of the work, answerability of the work, responsibility of the work. Unless you own the work, you feel like this is mine. I should complete it, perfectly, that too. Not just doing it for namesake. No, not that kind of work. Quality and, do it within the given time. These two are extremely important. That should be done without missing on or without compromising on any sort of, guidelines. And that should also be done within the given time frame. One person, I am reminded of one of my professors, here. Whatever she does, she's a perfectionist. She's an immaculate personality, meaning she's a flawless person. Whatever she does, she wants to be perfect. For instance, if she's preparing maybe slides, she wants, for instance, she's writing a piece of paper for one of the journals. She wants all the sentences to be without grammatical mistakes, punctuation marks, even comma, full stops. She checks very, very carefully. Okay, font size she checks very, very carefully. Even whether it is bold letters or normal fonts, she checks it very. So every area, each inch, spaces that we give there, neatness, without sending it in a clumsy manner. All these things are checked beforehand. Therefore, taking ownership of the work is to do something in such a kind of manner. When you take the ownership of something, you should actually dedicate yourself to that. You should actually give your 100%, put your heart and soul into it. Not just doing it for namesake, but at the same time, finishing it in the given deadline. Finishing it before the stipulated time frame. Great. Okay, fine. One person who can best set the deadlines is you yourself. Now, how can you expect somebody to keep monitoring you all the time? You can't. It's not possible. You cannot expect someone to keep a whistle on you all the time, or to check you all the time. Hey, have you done this? When will you do this? When will you complete this? Without that sort of some boss to monitor you, if you can become a self-reliant and a timed individual, if you can time yourself properly and finish off the deadlines with a sort of dedication, commitment, interest there, nothing like that. Okay, great. Ask yourself how much time needs to be devoted to a particular task and for how many days. How much time do you require to finish off that task, and how many days for it? Right? Proper allocation of that time, proper calculation of that time, or proper, forecasting of completion of that project or that assignment. Forecasting, predicting the completion of that project or assignment. That should be properly done beforehand, before you start your work. Use a planner to mark the important dates against the set deadlines. So never forget to have a planner to mark the important dates against the set deadlines. So this is actually my last day, but I should finish it off 2 days before that, 3 days before that. So in the planner, you should actually highlight it. That planner maybe should send you alarms, that should send you, wake up calls frequently periodically, that should send wake up calls to you. So accordingly, you should alert yourself, make yourself convenient and available so that the project or the assignment, is completed, is successfully completed before the given stipulated time frame. Great. Okay. Responsibilities and tasks. What are the responsibilities? What are the tasks that one should accomplish for effective and efficient management of time? Right. Learn to say no at workplace. Well, in the previous sessions, we focused on one of the important topics, that is assertiveness. Your yes should be yes, your no should be no. Okay. And these kind of people they never hesitate to, call a spade a spade. If they like something, they say, yes, I like it. If they don't like something, they will say, no, I'm sorry, I don't like it. Similarly, in the same fashion, that is called as being assertive. Rather, one should learn to say no at workplace. That means don't accept everything on your head. Don't dump everything on your head. That may not be possible as an individual to complete all the tasks perfectly, properly in the given time frame. That might even, increase your tension. That might increase your, phobia, nervousness. Instead, don't do everything on your own. There are other people. I don't mean to say you should always escape from your responsibilities and you should always ask somebody else to do the work. All that I'm trying to, explain here, describe here is, you should do your part of job properly, perfectly. And whatever is over and above that, whatever you cannot accept more than that, there are other people as well. So one should not accept something which he knows is difficult for him. Most importantly, if you know that a particular task, a specific task is, you cannot do that properly. Imagine they have given you a lot of typing and you are not a good typist because you haven't learned the keyboard properly. But whereas one of your other colleagues, he can type well or she can type well. Request her. Okay, tell your boss to assign the typing job maybe to the other person. And you are very good at writing, creative writing. You accept that responsibility because this is all about, again, interpersonal communication. This is all about, again, sharing. This is all about, again, helping one another, understanding one another. Isn't it? Right. The roles and responsibilities must be delegated as per interest and specialization of employees for them to finish, the tasks within deadlines. The, assigning these duties or, assigning the responsibilities must be done in such a fashion depending on the interest and specialization of the employees. That's what I have said just now. A person loves typing and he knows typing very well. He specializes. He masters the art of typing. He's an expert in typing. So that job should go to the right person. Whereas the other person, if he's a creative writer, a person who can write very well, okay, maybe his sentences, language, vocabulary and other things. Let that person take that creative writing as his task. Let him be given the task of writing, okay, so that the tasks are finished within the given deadlines and they rather enjoy their work because they specialize in the task. They have that interest to do that task and the tasks will be accomplished without any hiccups within the given deadlines or within the given time frame. Right. A person who does not have knowledge about something needs more time than someone who knows the work well. Obviously, naturally. Imagine a person who doesn't have the knowledge of typing requires more time to type a document when compared to a person who knows typing very well. Isn't it? Therefore, the right task should go to the right person, to the person who has that interest, who has that specialization, that mastery, that expertise in that area, so that the task is completed efficiently and effectively before the given deadline. That is called delegation of responsibilities and tasks. Right. Let's go and see the next one in our effective and efficient time management skills. Prioritizing tasks. How to prioritize tasks? Prioritize the tasks as per their importance and urgency. Right? What is important? What is urgent? That should be prioritized properly. Know the difference between important and urgent. What is important? What is urgent? That difference should be properly, understood. Otherwise, we'll be simply wasting our time. Otherwise, we'll be simply wasting our resources, our time, energy, everything. Identify which tasks should be done within a day, which all should be done within a month and so on. Tasks which are most important should be done earlier. Priority basis, most urgent. That's what I said, according to the chronological sequence or a logical sequence, right? Those things should be planned, scheduled and timetabled properly according to the important tasks and urgent tasks. Right? Probably urgent is first, important probably is next. That we will see more in the forthcoming slides in our presentation today. Right time, right activity. What is this? Spending the right time on right activity. Develop the habit of doing the right thing at the right time. Work done at the wrong time is not of much use. Don't waste a complete day on something which can be done in an hour or so, right? There is no point in wasting the whole day on something that can be simply finished. Maybe with the help of a software, with the help of some other, app application. Nowadays, we have got lots and lots of state-of-the-art technology applications. So make use of all the technology and don't waste the whole day on something that can be done maybe in an hour's time, isn't it? Right. Also keep some time separate for your personal calls or checking updates on Facebook or Twitter. After all, a human being is not a machine. You see, we are not robots, we are not machines. We also need our personal time. So, in addition to working promptly and sincerely by, setting deadlines for ourselves, by completing the assignments and projects perfectly without any problems, it is also important for all of us as human beings, as individuals, to have some personal time, some refreshing, rejuvenating, reviving, recharging time for ourselves so that we can always come back with recharged energy levels. Otherwise, life will be boring. It would be very, very monotonous and very, very tedious rather. We will have to face that mental and physical fatigue, F-A-T-I-G-U-E, fatigue. F-A, I'm writing the word on the digital board for the convenience of all of you. F-A-T-I-G-U-E, fatigue. Mental fatigue or physical fatigue. What is this? Mental, or it can also be physical. When the work becomes routine, when the work becomes, very tiresome, fatigue is nothing but very tiring, very tiring. Mentally you get tired. Physically you get tired. Therefore, you require some sort of refreshing time. You require some sort of recharging time, some breaks in between. Do not forget to take those breaks in between. Right, great. Let's go and see, some more interesting things about this time management, which is useful for students, professionals, and people who spend their lives at home, even in their, domestic places. Now, for effective time management, one should be organized. What is this? Avoid keeping stacks of file and heaps of paper at your workstation. You see, not everywhere, but some of the government offices, you see files that are, stacked, huge stack of files or huge heaps of paper at the workstation, which is very shabby to look at. And it is something like an ocean. And for one paper to search, he takes a whole day rather, Never ever keep your stacks of file and heaps of paper at the workstation pending. Throw whatever is unnecessary, whatever is unwanted, right? Unnecessary. So that means we need to keep checking our files and we need to keep, the tables and shelves and racks clean by clearing those stacks of files and heaps of paper. Otherwise, it will be too messy and it will be something like a sort of, a very, very chaotic place. It will be something like all hell will have to break loose there, isn't it? Right. Throw whatever is unnecessary, put important documents in folders, keep the files in the respective drawers with labels on top of each file. Rather, I remember this doing in my office. Most importantly, even for Word documents, Excel sheets, or even those, PowerPoint presentations, for us to have the name of the file is something very, very important as soft copies. Similarly, in the same fashion, hard copies also, they should be labeled properly. Just like in a medical shop, we go there are so many medicines there. But look at the way they very neatly organize those medicines with the labels there. So different doctors prescribe different kinds of medicines. You go there, just throw the slip there in front of him. This man goes as a wizard. Within, minutes time, he will come back with that medicine. If it is available there, of course, in the shop, if it is available. Therefore, keeping the files in the respective drawers with labels on top of each file is very, very, very important. It saves time which goes on unnecessary, searching, unwanted searching, which simply wastes your time, which irritates you and which, wastes your energy levels unnecessarily. So organizing your files labeling them, throwing the unwanted material and keeping the tables and shelves very clean and neat and tidy. Okay, clearing those stacks of files and heaps of paper is very, very important, especially in the workplaces. Most importantly, in the public workplaces and private workplaces, wherever it is, because that will take care of half of your job, because that shows that you are a very organized person, and your life becomes very, very easier. Otherwise, it becomes a mess to search for one file, one letter, one report, one document. It might take the whole day. You'll be keeping on fishing out. You'll be keeping on digging out all your files, wasting all the time there, and that might irritate even the higher authorities. They get irritated and they say you are not a very organized person, and there are chances of even losing your job there if that is your attitude and approach, isn't it? Right, great. Don't misuse time. Do not kill time by loitering or gossiping around. You see, there are people who simply waste their time by loitering or gossiping around, because that is their only job. Gossip mongers, rumor mongers, as if it is some job that they should perform. Otherwise, somebody will ask them. They keep wasting time in such a manner. Never be such a kind of person. Concentrate on your work and finish assignments on time. Remember, your organization is not paying you for playing games on computer or peeping into others' cubicles, right? Is the company paying for that kind of thing, that sort of thing? Is it just to play games on computer or peeping into somebody's personal lives, personal discussions? This company is not paying for that, because our time is extremely precious, right? We have only one life, so let us make the best use of that life and time, right? Okay. First, complete your work and then do whatever you feel like doing. Don't wait till the last moment. I have explained this already, so I don't think I'll focus again on that point. Now, be focused. One needs to be focused for effective time management. That concentration, that interest, that dedication is something important for effective time management. And you should also be patient at times, right? If the work is not done in a given time, that patience is equally important. Don't feel like I'm wasting all my time, so I should jump into something else. No. You need to hold your horses. At times, probably you need to be patient, because yes, at times the time is wasted, but you will have to manage that time. You'll have to make up that time, maybe in the other tasks, in the other areas. Now, there are 7 tips that I would like to throw light on for effective time management. And what are they? First one is set goals correctly. Set goals that are achievable and measurable. Use the SMART method when setting goals. By the word SMART method, it's not just the hard work that is important, it is the smart work that is important. And the full form of this SMART is specific goals. Okay, measurable goals. M stands for measurable. A stands for attainable goals. Okay, R stands for relevant, appropriate, suitable, apt, pertinent goals. Okay, and the last but not the least, timely goals. Goals that can be accomplished, that can be completed within the stipulated time frame. So specific, particular goals, measurable goals, attainable, achievable goals, relevant, appropriate, suitable, apt, pertinent goals, and timely goals. So go sets that kinds of goals in your academic lives, professional lives, personal lives. Right, okay. Second one is prioritize wisely. Your wisdom in prioritizing your goals is very, very important. Our tasks, activities is something very, very important. Prioritize tasks based on importance and urgency. For example, look at your daily tasks and determine which are. First one, maybe go for, I have shown here 4 kinds of categories. The first one, important and urgent. Do this task right away, straight away. Second category, important but not urgent. Decide when to do these tasks. Third one, urgent but not important. Delegate these tasks if possible, maybe to others in the team. Last one, not urgent and not important. Set these aside, maybe to do at a later point. They should not be postponed all the time, but they should be completed maybe after a certain period of time, or maybe a week's time, maybe after a week's time, or maybe after 10 or 15 days. That should be completed. Likewise, prioritizing the tasks or activities as important and urgent, important but not urgent, urgent but not important, not urgent and not important. Categorize them in these kinds of different kinds of categories. Right. Set a time limit to complete a task. Third one, setting time constraints for completing tasks helps you to be more focused and efficient. Making the small extra effort to decide on how much time you need to allot for each task can also help you recognize potential problems before they arise. You know, when you take that effort to decide how much time does it require, that will also tell you the pros and cons of it. What are the actual problems that you might face in completing the task within the given deadline or within the given stipulated time frame, that you can forecast, predict, and foresee when you actually sit for the time constraints or finish time. That way you can make plans for dealing with those problems. If you know what sort of problems that you face to finish the task before the deadline, you can also come up with troubleshooting options, isn't it? For example, assume you need to write up 5 reviews in time for a meeting. However, you realize that you will only be able to get 4 of them done in the time remaining before the meeting. So you are supposed to do around 5 reviews, but you know very well that within the, with the kind of time that you are given, you'll be able to maybe do only, 4 of them, and 1 you'll not be able to do within the given stipulated time. So what to be done? That sort of, the problem that might occur there, that might crop up there. So you should also be ready with your troubleshooting option. And what is that? If you become aware of this fact well in advance, you may be able to easily delegate writing up one of the reviews to someone else. So assign the task of writing that review, that feedback, that remarks to somebody else in the team. If you can finish off 4 reviews before the meeting, before the given deadline, the one that you cannot do within the given deadline, you can always assign to somebody else, isn't it? However, if you had not bothered to do a time check on your tasks beforehand, you might have ended up not realizing your time problem until just an hour before the meeting. At that point, it might be considerably more difficult to find someone to delegate one of the reviews to, and more difficult for them to fit the task into their day too. You see, that means waiting till the last minute. Unless you have, set the time limit for yourself, first of all, you don't know how much time you have and how much work can be completed within the time that you have. If you have planned it beforehand, that's the reason the 3 P's are very, very important. Planning, plan, prepare. Okay. Last one is present. The 3 P's. Planning. I like these 3 P's a lot. 1, 2, 3. 3 P's. All this should be planned in the way when you set your times. How much time? Okay. What can be done? What cannot be done? That involves a lot of preparation for that. And finally, with the help of this efficient and effective planning and preparation, your presentation will be definitely one of the best presentations. Therefore, hence, when you know that you cannot finish off those 5 reviews in the given time, you can always finish off the 4 reviews which you can do before in the given time, and you can always assign it to somebody else. But if it is not done properly, last minute, if you assign that 1 review to be written by somebody else, it is a big tension for you as well as to the other person, because assigning the job to somebody else within and at a very short notice, even for that person to understand the work and to complete it properly, will be a very, very difficult job. Therefore, setting a time limit to complete a task beforehand, well in advance, is something very, very important. Let's go and see the other important aspects in effective and efficient time management. Take a break between tasks. When doing a lot of tasks without a break, it is harder to stay focused and motivated. Okay, allow some downtime between tasks to clear your head, refresh yourself, recharge yourself, revive yourself to come back with recharged energy levels. Consider grabbing a brief nap, going for a short walk, go for meditating, whatever you like, maybe listening to music, or go for a walk, or go for meditation. Somebody sit and pray, go for a nap, then come back with that recharged energy, so that you don't feel that mental fatigue and physical fatigue to overpower you, isn't it? Right. Organize yourself. Utilize your calendar for more long-term time management. Write down the deadlines for projects or for tasks that are part of completing the overall project. Think about which days might be best to dedicate to specific particular tasks. For instance, for example, you might need to plan a meeting to discuss cash flow on a day when you know the company CFO is available, Chief Finance Officer. Okay. So when you decide the day on which you can talk to your Chief Finance Officer about the cash flow in your office, in your organization. So for that, first of all, you should check his convenience and your convenience. Mutually convenient time. So plan it accordingly so that your time and his time is not wasted. Your, task and his task. It should be a mutually productive job. It should be a mutually fruitful and result-oriented job. Likewise, we need to organize our calendar, our time, our days in such a kind of manner, right? We all know these things, but at times we fail to properly plan ourselves, organize ourselves, schedule and timetable ourselves and our tasks. Okay, right. Remove non-essential tasks, activities. It is important to remove excess activities or tasks. Determine what is significant, what is important, and what deserves your time. Removing non-essential tasks or activities, they will free up more of your time to be spent on genuinely, authentically important things. See, don't waste time on unnecessary things, so that these important things would suffer maybe later. Therefore, removing those unnecessary and excessive tasks is something important, so that you can spend quality time on genuinely and authentically important things. Plan ahead. I've just now shown you the 3 P's: planning, preparation, and presentation. Okay, make sure you start every day with a clear idea of what you need to do, what needs to get done that day. Consider making it a habit to, at the end of each work day, go ahead and write out your to-do list for the next work day. Right? That plan of action for tomorrow, the to-do list for tomorrow's engagements and appointments. That way, you can hit the ground running the next morning. Okay, scheduling, planning beforehand, well in advance. Okay, in terms of your time, in terms of logical sequence, in terms of what is important, what is urgent but not important, what is not urgent, not important. That kind of logical sequencing of your tasks, activities, that kind of chronological sequencing of your tasks and activities will make your life simple and super success. Right? That will help you, enable you, empower you. That will enrich you to hit the ground running the next morning. Okay. Well, what is your takeaway in this presentation? I've come to the end of this. The definition of time management, we have seen it as managing time effectively so that the right time is allocated to the right activity. Right time for the right activity. That is time management. So it includes effective planning, setting goals and objectives, setting deadlines, delegation of responsibilities, prioritizing activities as per their importance, spending the right time on the right activity. And there are 7 tips to manage this time effectively, and the 7 time management tips are: set goals correctly, properly. Second one, prioritize wisely. Okay. Third one, set a time limit to complete a task. Fourth one, take a break between the tasks to avoid that monotony, to avoid that boring kind of boredom, to avoid that boredom and monotony. And the fourth one, take a break between, of course, yes. Fifth one, organize yourself properly, right? In terms of file management, or in terms of the way you schedule your time, the way you remove the unnecessary things from your schedule so that you can focus on important areas properly, right? And most importantly, how best do you organize yourself in terms of file management as well as your brain management, mind management, so that the right thing is done at the right time. Remove non-essential tasks, activities, and most importantly, plan ahead. Be a planner well ahead of the time. Okay. Generally, it is said about trains as behind the schedule and ahead of the schedule. Always be ahead of your schedule. Don't be behind the schedule time. Always be ahead of the schedule time, so that you can avoid all the tension, pressure, and nervousness, and you can prove yourself as a winner, as a champion, as a successful person in your personal, academic, and professional lives. I hope the presentation has been meaningful and resourceful to all our viewers. Keep watching IARE YouTube. Keep watching, all these videos on soft skills and interpersonal communication. I wish you all success. Thank you for watching. I am Sunil Solomon. Thank you. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.